The truth about spam and how it applies to your internet marketing. Hi there, my name is Jenny, and with a little help from my friend Ralph, today we're going to have a little chat about spam. So, what is spam? Well, yes, Ralph, that is spam, but the spam we're going to talk about, according to the Wikipedia definition, is the use of electronic messaging systems to send unsolicited bulk messages indiscriminately. Yes, Ralph, you're right. Spam can be illegal and someone could end up in jail. But guess what, Ralph? If done correctly, spam is not illegal. The most recognized form of spam is email, and this is what we're going to talk about. Of course, there is spam in instant messaging, news groups, search engines, and blogs. You know, where people leave comments hoping that you aren't looking, and the link they leave has nothing to do with your subject. Obviously, they are trying to get link credit, since search engines now notice whether or not linking sites are relevant, and if they aren't, they disregard the site, so link building indiscriminately is not the way to go. Craigslist is full of spam ads. Cell phone, texting, faxes, social media, the list goes on and on. If someone can send an unsolicited message, the spammers have found a way to do so. Most of us recognize spam when we get it, and most of us sort spam based on our personality type, usually in the same way we deal with physical junk mail. When we get our mail from the post box, some of us take a quick look at the junk mail before tossing it. Some of us actually read some of it before we toss it. And yes, some of us even respond to something that catches our eye occasionally. Most of us respond to spam messages in the same way as we do physical junk mail. Spam is not really illegal, although some want to make it so. Sending unsolicited bulk or commercial email has four things going against it: the trend in the law toward stiffer regulation and penalties, the statistically declining response to it, the refusal of some hosting providers to dish it out, and blacklisting of your site by major internet service providers if caught. Service providers and web hosts do not like complaints from angered recipients about people using their servers for spamming purposes. When a service provider decides to unplug your website because of spam complaints, it hurts. It's embarrassing, and it can be expensive due to lost sales alone. With the passage of the CAN-SPAM Act of 2003, which was updated in 2008, Internet service providers have a private right of enforcement against you if you violate the U.S. federal CAN-SPAM regulations. There are 5 must-dos for all email containing advertising, promotion, or solicitation. 1. Identify the email as commercial or containing advertising or solicitation. Add a business address at the close of the email. A post office box is fine as long as you actually receive mail there. Add the website or business name, the real one. Have a way for people to unsubscribe and make sure it does work. Use real from email addresses and honest subject lines. Yep, there are 5 don'ts for commercial email. Don't even think about using email harvesting software to get email addresses from the web. Don't use anonymous remailers or try to disguise the source of the email. Don't use misleading subject lines or from names. Don't send adult material without clearly labeling it in the subject line and without seeing a lawyer first. Never send a commercial email without an unsubscribe link that works. We suggest to err on the side of caution. For instance, if you are sending promotional material to your opt-in list, it is still a good idea to add the address and commercial email label in case a list member takes exception to the mailing. If you have complied with all the requirements of unsolicited email, you can't get in trouble for any reason. Remember, spam, as unsolicited commercial email, is not illegal. Not many of us actually make a living sending unsolicited email, but problems may arise from recipients who say the content of your email is not what they were expecting, that they did not opt in for this email, But if you have complied with all the regulations for unsolicited email, even to your own list, you can't be held hostage by complaining list members. Lastly, remember that if you are the master promoter, you're responsible for rogue affiliates who violate the canned spam regulations. Your affiliate agreements should clearly state all affiliates must comply with the regulations and that their affiliate status will terminate if, in your sole discretion, they violate the regulations. If someone downstream of you does not instantly cease illegal conduct, you are required by law to notify the FTC so you can distance yourself from the joint venture partner or affiliate. Penalties. Oh yeah, there are penalties. Hopefully this will be a sobering moment for you, our listener. The Canned Spam Act carries prison penalties as long as 5 years per count. And they get worse if you, say, compound the problem by doing illegal harvesting of emails and then sending pornography without warnings in the subject line, which would be violations of multiple laws. Government fines can be $250 per email address you send to, up to $2 million per batch of illegally produced spam. And in addition, internet service providers can sue for $100 per email address you send to, up to $1 million per batch. If you do this a lot, it can add up to more money than any of us will ever see in our lifetimes. In reality, this is not directed at mom and pop, meaning the likes of most of us. However, in every crop of major scofflaws brought to justice, good prosecution adds in a few minor scofflaws as poster children to help all the other small operators remember to do the right thing. In a nutshell, mail only to legitimately obtained email addresses. Use legitimate ISPs, not anonymous remailers. Use truthful subject lines. Use real return addresses. Provide an unsubscribe feature that works. Provide a postal address if your email or newsletter provides information or products from third parties and/or your subscriber is not an opt-in. Work towards double opt-in email lists. Lastly, under new FTC disclosure requirements, make sure you disclose that you may receive compensation if someone acts on the email. In conclusion, unsolicited email is going to be increasingly regulated. The Canned Spam Act is just the first volley. You are earnestly recommended to build your double opt-in lists. Use them responsibly, as your subscribers are expecting you to. Explore alternatives to email solicitation as a lead generator. Spam's days may be numbered, or the regulation of it will become increasingly burdensome and therefore less and less cost-effective as a sales tool. However, in the meanwhile, spam remains legal with a few reasonable requirements. The important thing for legitimate emailer to remember is that it is best to err on the conservative side. Comply with the few basic regulations, even if you don't think they apply to your situation. And since legitimate emailers will not use fraudulent subject lines, illegal content, anonymous remailers, or illegally harvested email addresses, that leaves only two innocuous requirements: an unsubscribe feature that works, and a real email address that should be included in every commercial mailing. All the regulations of most countries boil down to this: common sense and common courtesy. Okay, our disclaimer. This video contains legal information, not legal advice. You are always encouraged to consult with a lawyer about your individual situation, since this video can only deal with general cases, and in reality, there is no such creature. You, the viewer, are entitled to self-advise based on this information, but you are not entitled to look to the author to indemnify your decision and your course of action based on this video. This information is brought to you by InternetLawCompliance.com, where we offer the complete legal guide to websites. This guide includes not only more detailed information on spam, but on privacy policies, terms of use, purchase agreements, COPPA, disclosures and disclaimers, and more. This is just one of many informative videos that you will find posted on YouTube based on information from Internet Law Compliance's Complete Legal Guide for Websites in the following days and weeks. Subscribe to receive an announcement when we post a new bit of information. We will be discussing spam, disclaimers and disclosures, FDA issues, and much, much more in upcoming videos. See you there.